Congressman Aaron Schock of Illinois is joining us. He's a member of the House Ways and Means Committee. Congressman, thanks very much for coming in.
Good to be with you.
Do you have any hard evidence there was a deliberate destruction of those emails on Lois Lerner's hard drive?
Well, we don't have any deliberate any information to suggest there was a deliberate effort, but let's start what we do know. Everything we've been told by the administration and the IRS that was supposed to be fact has been proven false about the particulars of this issue, and that is what is driving the outrage right now. Is that from the very beginning, the testimony repeatedly to Congress by the Ways and Means Committee, who 2 years ago asked whether this targeting was occurring, and the assurance wasn't, all the way up until the point where it was rogue agents in Cincinnati and it wasn't, all the point at which we were told nobody in D.C. knew anything about it, and we now have copies of Lois Lerner's emails in black and white, the ones that we do have, that show she gave direction in violation of what the White House and President said they thought was the case. She gave direction to people in Cincinnati to forward that information to her in Washington, D.C., because that's where the deliberations and the decisions would be made.
But there's, so let me just interrupt for a moment about Lois Lerner. She's the woman who is the head of that audit division that looked at tax-exempt status for these applicants, if you will, and she's now pleaded the fifth. She's refusing to cooperate, which, of course, is her constitutional right. But do you have any evidence? Any emails? Because yesterday John Koskinen said they've looked at all of her emails as far as her relationship with the Treasury Department and the White House. They could find no emails between her and either the White House or the Treasury Department.
Well, look, they've also lost 2 years of emails during the point of time that's in question.
They did say they recovered 20. Koskinen yesterday did say he recovered 24,000 of those emails, which are being made available to the Congress.
Right. And those are emails that we're able to go and capture from the receiving end, from people that she knew she was communicating with. But let's start with this.
But let me just ask you, on those emails, is there any evidence that she was getting guidance from political leaders at the White House or the Treasury Department?
No, but there is in those emails guidance by her, directives by her to subordinates for additional harassment, additional questions, because they were conservative leaning. And that is a violation of law, Wolf, which is why it gets to the heart of the matter of why we believe the Department of Justice needs to prosecute this. The information was so substantial just by the fraction of emails that we got. The Ways and Means Committee and the Congress voted overwhelmingly to ask the Department of Justice to prosecute. More people voted to hold Lois Lerner in contempt of court in Congress. I'm sorry. In contempt of Congress. More members of Congress voted to hold her in contempt of Congress than voted for the Obamacare legislation. It was bipartisan, overwhelmingly.
Well, let me ask you a question. You're accusing her of breaking the law. Is that what you're saying?
Based on the emails that we have, she broke the law. And let me say this. Nobody believes that Dave Camp, the chairman of the Ways and Means Committee, sent a letter to the IRS asking them to investigate the targeting of these conservative groups, and 10 days later, by happenstance, her hard drive crashed. And nobody believes that during that 2-year period in question, all of the emails were destroyed and are unrecoverable. Nobody believes that.
So who do you suspect destroyed, if you're making that accusation that she broke the law and that she was involved in destroying emails, who was involved? What evidence is there? She was involved. What evidence is there others may have conspired to be involved?
I'm not suggesting I know, but what I am suggesting is no American listening to your program today, Wolf, knows people whose hard drives crash and their emails are unrecoverable. And, by the way, at the same time, okay, 6 of the 80 people that are under investigation at the IRS, 6 of those same people's hard drives crashed during the same 2-year period. All of their emails are also unrecoverable. The probability statistically of that happening, it's just unbelievable.
So it's basically,
and so that warrants, Wolf, that warrants an investigation.
Right.
It may come out that nobody did anything wrong, but for those to suggest that this should not be further investigated by the Department of Justice is an abdication of responsibility. And, Wolf, the only reason CNN is covering this is because the Ways and Means Committee has not let up. The administration Treasury, IRS has not been forthcoming. We've had to press them to get the little amount of information that we have, and it warrants a special prosecutor and further investigation.
What we heard yesterday from the commissioner of the IRS, John Koskinen, remember, he took office only last December, so he was not involved in any of the alleged shenanigans that were going on earlier. What he says, that the Inspector General of the IRS is engaged in an investigation right now. He's going to be issuing a report very soon. Wait for that report. What's wrong with that?
Well, the Inspector General is only able, the Inspector General does not have the same power as the Department of Justice. They are not able to walk into the FBI. They are not able to issue the same subpoenas and get the same documentation. They're not able to go and use their IT forensic specialists to try and recapture these emails in the same way. It's really apples and oranges in terms of the type of investigation and prosecution that needs to happen to those that we know, based on the little info that we already have, broke the law, and potentially more information that we might gather with a full-blown investigation.
He also says that the computers over at the IRS, this was sort of shocking to me, are antiquated. The whole system is antiquated. Here's the question. Is it possible that this is just big government bureaucracy screwing up, if you will, that they couldn't handle what was going on, and as a result, those hard drives were destroyed?
It doesn't take new computers to tell the truth. It doesn't take new computers to be forthcoming with Congress. And Wolf, in February, this IRS commissioner was notified that there were missing emails. In February, he was notified the emails were unrecoverable, and in May, he gave testimony to our committee that all of the emails would be disclosed with no limitations. And it wasn't until June that we found out that there were 2 years' worth of emails missing. That is not being honest, that is not being forthright, and that has nothing to do with the age of the computer system. Second, I guess I would go back to my original point, which is the idea that this hard drive crashed during the 2-year period in question, 10 days after the letter was sent, is unbelievable. Yeah. The fact that 5 others and 6 total of the 8 employees under question had the same malfunction during the same period of time, all of which their emails are unrecoverable, is again unbelievable. Well,
there's certainly a ton of questions that have to be answered, and you may be right. And I pressed the commissioner yesterday on potentially the need for a special prosecutor, outside independent counsel to investigate. His only point was wait till the Inspector General's report comes out, and then there will be time to make that decision. One final question. Do you believe he lied before your committee or in any other official capacity, John Koskinen?
I'm not going to go that far. I would just simply say, you know, he's making declarative statements without the information to back it up. For him to say people didn't break the law, he doesn't have the information. I wouldn't dare say that somebody didn't break the law when you're missing 2 years' worth of emails. How can you make that declarative statement? So for him to say to our committee that we were going to get all of the emails in question in May, and he was notified in March that they were unrecoverable, I don't know what that is. Maybe he was confused. But he told us one thing, and he was briefed, basically being told another several months before. So he was told in February and March the emails were unrecoverable. He told Congress in May we were going to get all the emails. In June, we were then notified we wouldn't. So your listeners are smart enough to figure out what that is.
Aaron Schock, Republican representative from Illinois. Thanks, Congressman, for joining us.
Thanks. Good to be with you.